Hey, Post Road Jen, I'm Kristan Hawkins. Welcome to this How to Win This Week episode on the Explicitly Pro-Life podcast. It's just me talking to you today, and we're going to talk about something you hear a lot as pro-life advocates, especially on social media. And I'm sure if you've ever been in a heated conversation about abortion, this accusation gets waged towards you and towards our movement all the time. Yeah, well, what about all those kids in the foster care system? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to unpack this a little bit today because there's a lot of things, I think some facts that we'd like to bring into this conversation. And when we're having conversations with friends and family and they bring up and try to use children who are in foster care to justify the extremism of abortion in all 9 months, which, let's be very clear, that's exactly what they're doing. Just like when we talk about a woman who survived sexual assault and becomes pregnant, how the abortion industry all the time, all they want to talk about is rape. And why do you oppose abortion in cases of rape? And even if you would say, fine, go ahead, kill all those babies, they still would be against you. Why? Because they're just using this terrible circumstance that's a less than 1% of all abortions to justify 100% of abortions. And that's exactly what's happening when you hear an abortion advocate talk about foster care and to justify their pro-abortion views because there's 400,000 children in foster care. Let's be very clear. Foster care is not an orphanage system. The goal of foster care is reunification with the family of origin. According to Bethany Christian Services, when children are in foster care, they typically have regular supervised visits with their parents. As parents progress towards their assigned goals, the reunification process begins with unsupervised visits, overnight visits, weekend visits. Once the children return home, parents work with a social worker to provide in-home services and additional support to help the parents and children make a smooth transition. Most of the children in foster care aren't actually even eligible for adoption. According to the Adoption Network, of the over 400,000 children in America who are currently in the foster care system, 114,556 are only those the quarter are eligible for adoption, meaning they cannot be returned to their families. Their families have relinquished control or they've lost control. And those are the children who are waiting to be adopted. Among these children, males outnumber females. African American children are disproportionately represented, and over half are over 6 years or older. So only a fourth of children in foster care are eligible for adoption. And practicing Christians, here's a fact that you will never hear from the mainstream media. Practicing Christians are the most likely group to step up and adopt and or foster children in need of families. Oh, that's right. Pro-lifers. According to the Christian Alliance for Orphans, Barna research found that practicing Christians are more than twice as likely to adopt as the general population. The findings also show from their study that practicing Christians were more likely to adopt the older children, the children with special needs, and other children considered hard to place. Practicing Christians were also nearly 3 times more likely to have seriously considered foster care. When actively recruited and organized supported, these services can have a profound impact, not just on individual children, but system-wide. For example, in Arkansas, more than 40% of foster homes are recruited by a single faith-based group. So this is important. And there's been efforts from the Family Research Council, the Call, evangelical groups across America to say, we as a church are going to step up, in our state, in our community, and we're going to ensure that any child who needs a home, who may be in a group home, who can't get placed with a foster family, can get placed. And so there's these church services, Sunday night services that happen across the country in churches across our country to encourage and equip Christians of, yes, you can raise your hand. You can do this. Here's how we're going to help you walk through what may seem like a difficult or scary process of becoming a foster parent. And we know these types of efforts are working. For example, what I just mentioned, the stat from the Christian Alliance from orphans, more than 40% of foster homes were recruited by one event in the state of Arkansas. That is significant, and that is because of Christians, i.e. pro-lifers. So it's our side, those who oppose the violence of abortion, who are actually consistent, who are saying, yes, of course, children inside and outside of the womb matter, and they matter equally. It's not the pro-abortion side that's doing the adoptions, making the adoption plan, becoming a foster family. Not that they can't, but we can tell through these numbers that I just cited to you that it is in fact Christians. It is pro-lifers. But I want to close, and I know this is a short episode, so I'm trying to keep it snappy, but I do want to close with one thought though. Even if Christians weren't stepping up in epic numbers to transform the foster care system and to foster and adopt children who need love, who deserve love and families. Even if Christians didn't do that, saying that a child would be better off dead, to be doomed, destined to be aborted, rather than enter the foster care system, that is a morally corrupt statement to make. Because that's what we hear all the time is somebody may suffer, therefore they should be doomed to die. And we should ask ourselves, who is that really better for? Certainly not for the child who will be torn apart limb by limb, sucked apart, induced with a heart attack. Plenty of foster children in the foster care system are reunified. Many get adopted. And some grow up without being adopted, but they transition into adult life and they lead satisfying lives. It doesn't mean the trauma isn't real. Doesn't mean the pain isn't real. But it doesn't mean just because someone may experience trauma or they may experience pain that their life doesn't matter. Their lives do matter. Their experience does matter. We, as the pro-life generation, now the post-Roe generation, reject this morally corrupt statement and belief.